Dear viewers and Brawny, I want to tell you the single most infuriating experience in the world. You see, when Brawny requires you to record lines, each and every line he wants you to make it its own recording, which means, say, a line, noise remove it, export it, open it up in a Google Drive, drag the file back in, and go back to Audacity. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot until you've done 17 of these, and every time a series of those clicks, I'm reminded that I'd rather do literally everything else and anything else with my life. And as such, I'm going to list off what an insufferable, miserable experience it is and the things that I would just rather do than that. I'd rather have Dark Scytche call me a pedophile.
I'd be a fat neckbeard with 7 chins that touches little kids.
I'd rather be dating SKiHound, that's right. I'd rather get up every day and smell the guy who no doubt smells like cheap weed and applesauce. I'd rather be Rhino Mills' spine. I'd rather be Doodle Tones' sexuality. I'd rather watch Dillon Thomas, you know what, that's a lie. I'd rather sit in a fox call and listen to a bunch of dullards pointlessly piss and moan about PokeTubers. I'd rather lend Toon Critic my plushie. I'd rather listen to Minty Root complain about said plushie. I'd rather live in Kentucky. I'd rather be Tommy Taco in Limbo. I'd rather get between some edgy 14-year-old and his video games.
I'm bored. Bye.
No, it hasn't, right? But, you know, if I kill Jews because I'm fucking bored, you know?
I'd rather be Brony waiting for Cat Avenger to take him back. I'd rather listen to Josh Scorcher for another hour plus about his magical story about his FBI friends. I'd rather be the current hit count on Equestria Daily for views. I'd rather be that poor puppet that Silver Quill uses after the camera goes off. I'd rather be the people who unfortunately enough clicked on Mad Plushy without having the audio muted.
You're an asshole. Asshole.
I'd rather go back to the domain and have Tumblr woman over here tell me that Poke wasn't stalking someone. Fuck you, thank you, have a nice day. Dear Dillon Thomas, I believe congratulations are in fact in order. Despite being chucked out of the old commentary community, you've risen from the ashes like a phoenix. You are the founding member and the head of the Alt-CC, something along those lines, right? You did it, kid. You showed me up. Oh, look guys, Dillon Thomas, among many others, have made a video about me. Only, Thomas, you're in a bit of a pickle. You see, despite having a brand new bag, it appears your fans don't seem to give a fuck. A channel with 8,270 subscribers got less than 500 views on me. I know what you're going to say. Well, FNGR, maybe you're just not that interesting. And you know what, Dillon? Fair enough. Only, here's Dillon's video where he's quitting the CC and has 500 views. Less than 1/10 of his fan base. 1/20th? Yes. Cared that you were going to take your ball and go home, Dillon. Oh, that's gotta hurt. And you know what? This is Rhino Mills' video where he calls it quits from the CC. It had 2,000 views and he only has 2,000 subs. Hell, that's almost 1v1. And that was about the same time. And again, his sub count is about 1/4 of yours. Here's you responding to the CC. You couldn't even break 1K, Dillon. This video right now, right here, is going to go over 1K. Feel good, Dillon. It'll be a video that touched upon the commentary community that has you in it. And it'll be over 1,000 views. Call it a gift to the Alt-CC. Mwah! If you're in the Alt-CC and thinking, FNGR, you're a coward, you only pick on weaklings. Well, you're not wrong. Toodles! Dear Mad Munchkin.
No.
Overruled. Recently, you expressed an interest in joining the Secret Rift. Now, a while ago, we had some drama that was light years ago. Rhino Mills told me he talked to you about it. To which you said, no, it was silly, and I'm paraphrasing, something along the lines of, it wasn't productive. So, I want to tell everyone here what we were going to ask Maddie before she came into the Secret Rift. Number 1. If there are any issues outside of the Rift that you require assistance with, if someone asks you for an example, it would be appreciated if you remained calm and provided it. And we'll see what we can do. To give context, it refers to the accusation that Maddie had given in the third Rift under Fallen Wish that Moliminous was stealing artwork. She provided a link to Molimonous's channel, and I swear I wasn't fucking around and I asked, but yeah, where's the video? Now, I and Moliminous today, and at that time, were not chums, pals, amigos, friends, or on talking terms. When I tried to get to the bottom of the story, Maddie threw up her hands and accused me of being Molimonous's bosom buddy after making a massive scene. I wasn't even a mod at the time, and quite honestly, I would have paid cash money to have gotten proof Moliminis was doing something like that. Instead, what happened was Munchkin wanted people to take her at her word because that would not be appreciated or tolerated in the Secret Rift if, for example, Crown Prince, Queen among women, man among men, if she were to say something, take my word at value, my response would be, could you please give me an example? Pretty please? And I would admit I'd be a lot nicer, but I would insist on the example. Number 2, if you have an issue or a concern with people in the room, don't hesitate to contact the staff. There really shouldn't be, as long as everyone else is prepared to listen, which has been the case in the Secret Rift for a year now. That we've had peace to a fault. Nay, peace and quiet, so much so that even FNGR can't comment on it, and that's clearly doing something right. In previous rifts, there were issues with people like British Brony, where the modding staff got gimped by the loony turtle. However, I wanted to assure Mad Munchkin that joining that crap isn't tolerated or accepted. In fact, we've never had to throw out a single person in the rift for behavior in the rift. We screen applicants, the process takes 5 to 30 minutes, it saves hours of headache later on. Headaches you yourself, Mad Munchkin, have contributed to. Not that I don't understand, but handling an issue now prevents it from materializing later. Number 3, I'll assume you're being active, but we typically remove people for inactivity. We removed somewhere between 9 and 11 people recently. We require content creators to keep up some resemblance in productivity with their work. Seeing as how you do art and your channel, this last request is simply a formality in all likelihood. Pretty self-explanatory. Recently, we removed Persian Poetess due to a lack of content and not being around. Now, to be perfectly clear, Persian Poetess isn't just a nice person. She is the nicest person I have ever met. But in the old Rift, you'd have people like Ink Rose in the room for about a year without a peep. And quite honestly, I had suggested at the time that we don't need names for the sake of having them. Now, I know we've had our issues, and yes, I am a moderator in the Secret Rift. If you wanted to go mingle, it's a great opportunity to have a word with many of the young and bright artists and analysts and voice actors. And I'm proud of the room that the moderating staff has all come together to help make a better experience for everyone. Here's the Secret Rift picture, and you're free to contact anyone in the room to see if there is an issue. You had a meeting with the Rift staff, you agreed to show up, you saw me, and then you bolted. If you want people to stop saying that you act like a 5-year-old, start acting like a fucking adult. You can't kick over your juice box when you don't get your exact way, when and how you see fit. Good day, ma'am. Dear Misanthropony,
used artistic passion for something that I did, you should give her an apology.
God, I miss when this took far less effort and we used to scream at stuff. Anyways, for the sake of time, the issue should have been Pokebrony, or whatever that lowlife is calling himself now. The name and the channel will be in the description. As for Zachary Taylor, Wolfkeen, what was that? I said, One more time. ArtisticPassion. That a boy, I'm proud of you, sir. Technically, probably, most likely, I got carried away. Now, Poke, if you're still listening, when I told you not to wake up the next day, I meant every fucking word of that. I think you're a massive dick. I think you're an unrepentant, sniveling, groveling weasel. But aside from all that bile, I've had good times talking to Zach. Maybe not all of my peers, but back when I wasn't super connected, I didn't resent BSing with this man. Now, you've done some shoddy shit that's pissed me off, but what I recently did was kinda tacky. Wolfkeen, I've never minded your content. I think you're kinda loud at times. I think we can admit that, and I never saw you at BronyCon last year. Free heads up, Grasshope cut me off 2 times for no reason. I kind of miss Grasshope's crazy ass, but that's Grass's call. And if you're listening, I mean crazy in a neutral way. You have freaked me out a couple of times, but whatever. ArtisticPassion. This was where I was gonna skip this part. I recall ArtisticPassion's post on DA when I first subbed her, when she jumped up and down, was all happy, and I thought that was the coolest fan reaction that I have had till this day. We've had a series of issues, some of which, at first, I politely talked to you about, mostly because I thought those issues were just me. And then I started to see a lot of those complaints were common issues. At the same time, there was a powder keg of issues in the Rift that were not being addressed. Now, either due to fading memory or politically map tapping me on the shoulder, a little of column A, a little of column B. You had really bad timing. I asked you to stop doing something, and your cheeky response was, what are you gonna do about it? It's not as if I started off mortal enemies with Artistic Passion. Limbo and the Secret Rift did not sit around, like the Legion of Doom, and make a fuck you list of people for keks. You came into the analysis room, and after you got comfy, treated it like everyone there was supposed to drop everything that they were doing and comfort you when you were upset. That's where we disagree. And instead of being to properly be able to assert with you, Fallen Wish gimped anyone putting the proper amount of backlash on what was a growing amount of frustration. And you used and abused that shit. That is why a lot of people don't like you. You and Keyblade are the symbol in the Third Rift for moderation corruption. You put yourself first over the well-being of others, and the longer and more I think about it, if someone, anyone, let alone someone who just experienced a severe loss told me that you were running around in spite of what would have been tactful, it's not like it was out of the realm of imagination. It just occurred to me. I kinda gave Will the consideration I refused to give to Mad Munchkin. The reason being is that Will never acted like a direct massive penis to me. Did that go wrong? Yeah, but no one's mad at Will. Now, outside of Dark Scythe from the commentary committee, I'd be hard-pressed to think of any ghoul who'd delight in seeing a family member die. In short, Artistic Passion, I'm sorry I assumed the worst of you, but you sure haven't given me a lot to work with. After a while, for better or for worse, we really do start to just assume the worst-case scenarios of those who don't give us evidence to the contrary. Dear Mad Plushy, have you ever gotten a single one of these right? Like, I'm asking you, so let's read this.
Sounds like you need to get over yourself about the silver quill thing. He'd rather do comedy than comedy and teach a lesson. Why the fuck is that a big enough problem to be on this show?
Okay, MP. Ever see Family Guy, the earlier episodes, one of the first 3 seasons? You know, all the ones everyone's seen 5 million times. That one episode where Brian gets put under house arrest for that bitchy old lady, and it turns out she's an amazing singer who wasted her talent singing copper tone in Dippity-Doo commercials. I'm not suggesting that Silver Quill is KP or Dr. Wolf, some unfunny, untalented hack who reached far above his or her station. Far from it. Here, let me play you something.
He said the author's interpretation of their own work is no more valid than an audience member's interpretation of the same work. Do you believe that's true?
That implies that all opinions are created equal, and people may cry foul at this, but I think someone who's formed an opinion based on thought and reflection and maybe multiple readings is a more solid opinion than someone who just skimmed the first few pages.
Oh yeah, that's not what that's not what the guy said. He didn't say every single opinion is equally valid. He just said that the author's opinion is not more valid simply by virtue of them being the author of the text.
That I will agree with, because there's always the law of unintended consequences. And to deny that simply because I'm the author, I wrote it, what I say goes, no. I go to a writing group, believe me. People take some weird things away, and you can't just say, you can't lecture an audience, no, you're not supposed to think like that. The whole point of writing is you get people thinking. That said, I never learned how Freudian sword fights are until I tried to write one.
He has a boundless wealth of things to teach and say to contribute to the discussion. It's one of the things where he decides to shelf all these gifts and talents, and sure and fine, they're his gifts to put away and let rot. But then he goes an extra mile after squandering what he has and tries to tell people how to run their lives.
2016 has been a rough go. Even ignoring the political scene, the world just seems harsher. People are angry at one another, don't trust each other, and even in the Brony community, I've gotten the sense that we're burying our fangs at one another more than anything.
In a word, no. To everyone in the audience, ever hear about Brony analysts talk about, this is insulting to my intelligence, and the intelligence of the audience. Of all the things that you could or would be capable of doing, this is what we got. The difference between being a fan and a fanboy is this. You can be a fan of someone and see when they fuck up. When you're a fanboy, the guy you're a fan of can do nothing wrong. Now, we're all fanboys of someone. I would encourage you to be at least a little bit more self-aware, and maybe one day, Plushie, one day, if you close your eyes and click your heels and believe you'll finally be right. Dear Doodle Tones, this is clearly going to bite me in the ass, but what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'd like to ask what's going on, believe me, I have. I feel like I've asked a dozen motherfuckers, and since no one's talking to me, I'm going to assume you fucked up royally. But if in GR you say, surely you most of all must know not to take Mr. Metacritic at face value, well, the Alt-CC tweets at Jim, and he replies, now I can only assume that they did the same for myself. Considering I've been infinitely more of a cunt to Brother Jim, what the fuck did you do? Let's put this into context. I have an 8chan cow thread. I have 2 horse news articles and an Encyclopedia Dramatica page. You must surely be a swirling shitstorm of buffoonery that I can't wrap my head around, that somehow, someway, that you've taken my title of top shitlord. Bravo! You've done it. Now again, I would have asked privately, but you ran off like a triggered 5-year-old. Mad Munchkin. Or is that it? Could it possibly be, maybe, just maybe, you turned into, or maybe you've always been a colossal, stuck-up, entitled cunt burger, with layers and layers of pretentious cunt sauce, pouring and drizzling and marinating over you as you wallow in it and bathe in it. It feeds you, you edgy cunt burger! In short, Doodle, if you're not having fun with drama, why are you constantly smack dab in the middle of it? Again, one more time, thank you, fuck you, bye. There was a recent drama about an individual on Tumblr from a gentleman named Pony? Pony. I'm debating whether I'm going to read that off here or not. Here's something a little bit more interesting. Here is a rant from Y2K Toon Critic about his impassionate thoughts on the recent Power Rangers movie. It's likely to be a bit more flavorful and have a bit more gusto and sincerity than the product on his channel. It doesn't have a filter. There's a lot of rage and fun stuff with it, so I want you guys to enjoy, and maybe I'll come back to that Tumblr piece that seems to have a couple of people up in an uproar. Take care.
Is that you as Sly Cooper?
Yes, it is. It's full picture is right.
Well, the way things are going, we'll get another sequel in about 10 years.
Don't break my heart like that.
Aren't they going to make one to go with the movie?
I have no idea.
If the movie ever fucking gets made.
No, I think that
I hated when they ended the most recent game, even though it's a fossil by today's time standards. I hate when they ended it on a cliffhanger like that. Like, god damn it! This game was supposed to save us from the cliffhanger for the last one, you fuck!
Yeah, I don't think that...
That's actually, for this thumbnail is for a video I'm doing called the top 7 dumbest Sly Cooper moments, and that exact thing is number 1.
Well, ending it on a cliffhanger again, with no news of another game. Yep.
Well, you don't want to know also the funny thing? That Sly Cooper movie that was supposed to come out?
Yes.
That movie was supposed to come out last month.
Must have missed it.
Original release date, but nope, that's not happening, and we don't even know if it's going to happen.
Well, remember, Ratchet & Clank didn't do too hot.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought they delayed it till 2017.
Or next year, 2018. Fuck if I know at this rate. I'll just be happy if it gets made.
I like.
Speaking of shit getting made, when's frickin' Rick and Morty's next season coming out?
Rick and Morty season 3.
That would be pretty badass.
You know, someone made fan art of that where they have the little butter machine whose job is to pass butter. They give him butter and say, okay, pass the butter, and he breaks into the prison that Rick's in and rescues him. Because he's so good at giving him butter, he just tears through everything to give him the butter.
Exotic butters.
What is my main purpose? You pass butter. Oh, God. Yep, welcome to the club, buddy.
I can imagine Keychi telling me that. Like, Keychi, what is my purpose? You pass butter. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Passing butter is kind of out of your league, Tommy.
Oh, Jesus!
Oh my God.
Shots fired.
At least it has more purpose than you, John. What do you do? You
I'm a United States Marine. I think I'm well above passing goddamn butter.
Oh yeah, Tommy does serve a pretty good role. It was one V that kept throwing her out.
No
What's
way.
my purpose? You get thrown out of the group.
Oh God.
Yeah, welcome to...
Tommy's good at getting thrown out of limbo.
You know, I am the host of the call. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that.
Swear to God.
What?
Nothing.
Goddamn right, nothing.
I had to go to school. Forget all of you guys.
You see, guys, we don't have it that bad.
English dictionary, Tommy.
Holy shit.
Did you guys understand any of that from Tommy?
She said I have to go to school.
Dictionary.
I'm sorry, Taco. I can't understand you over that gassy taco language.
Revolution. That's what I thought you said.
That's some shade coming out of me, I know.
Jesus.
You know, when we were talking about bad movies or animated, you know, it just can't. Whoever's ever seen Happily Ever After?
No.
Oh, no.
That one was just, no.
That sounds familiar. What's it about?
No, Toon. You don't know what no is. You need to go see the second one.
What, Happily Never After? I know about that.
The second. Oh my god, damn.
There's a second one?
The first one wasn't so bad, at least by comparison if you're grading on a curve. Holy shit, that second one. I watched, I think I made it like a half hour to an hour in with one of my friends, and I was like, this is horrible. This is fucking... I think it was the most garbage cartoon I'd ever rented.
I had no idea there was a second one. Shit.
It's just bad. Like, it's not even fun to make fun of, it's just bad.
No, you want to know what fresh hell I'm gonna have to go into? I lost a bet with one of my friends, and he knows that I review animated movies. So if I lost the bet, I'd have to review a shitty animated movie, and I'm like, okay, I'm aware of all my shitty animated movies. What do you got for me? He showed me this. I'm not prepared for this.
Oh, let me see.
What was the
Kangaroo
bet?
Jack.
I remember this movie. Have fun.
I remember
Have
that.
fun with that, dude.
Kangaroo Jack. Who are you, fly? God, I can't do that.
You know, here's a top 10 list for you, Toon. 10 cartoons that you remember fondly that did not age well.
Oh boy!
Oh, that would be a good one.
I'll tell you right the fuck now. I'll tell you right the fuck now.
I knew you'd be the guy for that.
There was one cartoon that I distinctly remember. It was on Fox Kids. It was one of the very first CGI animated TV series. And it was so fucking bad.
He's talking about Action Man, a reboot, isn't he?
Oh,
yeah, it's Action Man.
Oh, I haven't heard of that in forever.
I thought you were going to say that one game with Overbite or whatever his damn name.
Overbite?
Overbite?
Freaking it had like... It was like they got sucked into video games or some shit like that.
That's a reboot.
Yeah, Reboot.
Reboot was kind of cool.
It was. I didn't get into it until it was done, and then I was like, yeah, this isn't so bad. I remember fighting it until like went into reruns in the morning.
Wait. Hey, no, wait, I got a better one. I had the VHS tape of this, and I watched it over and over again, and I thought it was the funniest shit ever. Watched it a few months ago and thought it was terrible. Fucking the Donkey Kong TV series.
I loved that when I was a kid. I
Are you
loved
talking
that.
about the real old one, Toon?
The real old one, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that the one with songs in it?
Yeah.
The
or Donkey
Cream
Kong
Pie.
sounds like a fucking black guy when he's singing. I'm just, I popped it in again, and I researched what the episode was that were on the VHS tape, so I looked for one of them, and I paused 5 minutes in. I'm just like, I liked this.
Someone should show him Pro Jared's review.
Oh yeah, fucking JJ the Jet Plane.
Oh, that shit.
God.
That was scary.
I remember that. That is creepy, yeah.
It fucking terrified me.
Yeah, hey guys, commerce worked out so well. Let's do the same thing with planes.
No, let's not. Please, let's not.
Kill it! Somebody kill it!
And then they got nightmare fuel for childhood.
That much nightmare fuel when you go to the fucking moon.
Thomas was only good for a while, then it turned to CGI, and then it just got eh.
Could it also be because you grew up?
But it also makes great fanfics.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You know the way you would do that, Toon, if you wanted to collab for that? You get challenged to do the 10 of the worst things you remember fondly, and you just show yourself expiring, and it gets passed off to one of your friends, and they could do 2 until they wind up keeling over from how horrible it is.
Although this has me curious, I think I'm gonna write some of these down.
Well, it's the best bad idea I think I've had in a long time.
You could separate it into 2 ideas: old shows that didn't live up,
I got it. Speed Racer.
and movies.
Oh yeah.
Split it into 2.
There are some people who really like Speed Racer.
Like
I'm
the
not one of them.
old Speed Racer, like.
I know Donut loved it.
Hey, Toon,
I know
what
one
was...
of Ryan's friends loves it. That's why he uses it as an OC.
Oh yeah, Ricky Ray. Right.
Hey, Toon, what was the bet you lost? Like, what was the bet?
I drinking an entire thing of adult chocolate milk in one go. I couldn't.
You can make yourself sick by drinking too much milk, I think.
You didn't let run of it.
Yeah, you can.
You can. That's the thing. Like, I'm trying to figure out why you'd agree to that. Drinking a whole carton of milk, goddamn.
He was probably tired and not thinking, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that was exactly it.
You could at least let half run down your cheek.
Excuses, Toon. Excuses.
The human body can only process, I think, a gallon a day, and then you poison yourself after that.
The Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Oh, God.
I love that show.
I hope you're not counting the Zelda one.
And the Zelda one.
I like the Zelda one. Come on.
Excuse me, Prince.
The Zelda show did not age well. I'm gonna straight up say that one. It was bad.
I'll be right back.
The Zelda show at least tried to some extent following the other thing. Then you had Captain and the Game Master.
You know what? I liked the first season until Game Boy showed up.
The downside for me is that I actually prefer Adventures of Sonic.
I remember getting in an argument with Robin about that, and I was like, "What are you talking about? That's fucking amazing." He's like, "Here, go look," and I was like, didn't remember it being better. I remember it being quite magical. In fact, my memories were not kind to me, unfortunately.
I'm sorry, but it got Mega Man completely wrong, and Simon Belmont just hurts my soul. Looking at him.
I'm not going to get up and make a lot of friends with this. The movie Bob said it best. He's like, what would they have been if they did what's it called, authentic to the original work? They all would have been bland, boring heroes, so they had to give them fucking, characters from scratch.
I can get that if you're playing the silent protagonist card, but at the same time, you can still get something like, there are certain parts, like I hunt vampires, not I have a sentient whip and like to comb my hair every 10 seconds.
Yeah, but that would still be arguably bland. It's just the hero. Plus, let's be fair here. When they made the show, all we really had was the NES, which was, like, back then, there wasn't really much focus on storytelling or characters.
Yeah, look at current Konami. Like, there's a lot of development. They really did a lot with Belmont later on. By all means.
Yep.
You're not going to win this argument, sir. No. Capcom did that much with Mega Man and all that time.
I don't know that Mega Man cartoon, not the one in Captain N. That one was alright.
Fighting robot.
That one was good, except for there was one episode that hurt my head. That, like, even you watch it and Dr. Light's like, this is fine for the entire episode. The one with the lion men in it. Okay. It's like, apparently the meteor fell, people were infected with some sort of gene which turned them into lion men or whatever, which followed some other guy for some reason, and Dr. Light's like, let's see what's on the television. And then Hawaii has been taken over by lion men that shoot laser eyes.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Alright, what about the old Sonic shows that aired in the 90s?
That's fucking easy. Sonic Underground. There's no question there.
Sonic Underground was great. Shut up.
Sonic Underground.
I love Sonic Underground.
You know what? I think that's a collab waiting to happen. We're freaking
Sonic Underground.
Sonic Underground just pops up and goes, "What do you? I'll stab you."
It is the worst fucking Sonic show. Let me fucking list the reasons. 1, Steve Urkel voices everybody, including the girl. They couldn't fucking get anything else for that because all their budget went to the fucking people who made every song, every fucking episode. They paid the fucking writers there to come up with these shitty, half-assed, unforgettable songs every fucking episode. Number fucking 2, the story is a fucking fan fiction straight out of DeviantArt, and it
sounds like
feels like one too.
That comic series that barely anyone reads. Anyway,
right. Number 3, the fucking intro is shit.
Oh shit!
Well, you call yourself. You better fucking hand over your Sonic license, buddy boy, because you have a fucking Sonic fan in my eyes.
All right.
Let me guess. You're gonna say Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
I find it. It wasn't that terrible.
You guys are.
I wouldn't say it's that funny.
I'd rather fucking take Sonic X over fucking Sonic Underground.
You liked Sonic X, I thought.
Yeah, I did, but that show didn't age well either.
Oh God, no, it did not.
I remember being on like a.
So what makes it more redeeming then is with the Sonic Adventure?
What do you mean?
The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog to me was like forced slapstick the entire time.
You know what? At least I can take Adventures because there are some funny parts to it. There is nothing funny or redeemable about Sonic Underground.
The chili dog one?
Yeah.
That's the only one I knew about.
Because that's all you need. You got Sonic, you got Tails, you got Dr. Eggman, you got usual fucking Saturday morning shenanigans. That is all you need. You don't need a fucking, we have these magical instruments. We gotta find our mom and we have to sing about friendship. No, fuck that shit.
I touched a crab and I was.
Tell me you have that on tape. I want to have two critical singing about friendship.
Yeah. Hang on.
I have him shit all over Sonic Underground, and I will do it in front of you, Dark Edge.
Why do you need to bring back cartoons to do it? Why
It's gonna have to collab.
I think you could actually get away with it too, and I don't think a lot of people will hate you for that.
And see, for the longest time, my least favorite Sonic was Sonic Boom, but I can't hate it now. Somewhere halfway through it, threw out the original writers and got the writers who I'm assuming are working for the Sonic Twitter, because now they're self-aware and funny and know that they're shit, so they're making fun of themselves all the entire time. And I'm like, thank you. This is what I want.
Tight scope Sonic is what you're saying.
Yes, it is. It's like they realize that they're shit. They're not going to be able to save themselves. So, hey, we're shit. We know. Let's have fun with it.
Yeah.
Sonic didn't do that because it was way too damn serious about it.
It's a good thing they never made another cartoon with a rock star. Oh, wait. They did. My dad's a rock star. Actually, during that time, I think they aired like another cartoon about Inspector Gadget, Gadget and the Gadgeteers or something.
Yeah,
that was weird.
That one.
Oh, God.
That was like, why did that exist again?
Inspector Gadget was never good, in my eyes.
Inspector Gadget was hey, you know what? Freaking Dr. Claw was alright when he was Destro on G.I. Joe.
He was alright.
Being serious or making a joke.
Well, what was so good about G.I. Joe then? What was so good about Transformers? Fucking who?
Yeah, I'll have you know, when I was a kid, we were allowed to have toy guns and shit that looked like really guns until somebody got shot by some retarded cop. And that's why it was cool.
No, it's like I didn't grow up with like the 80s and the 90s, you know, toys that get a cartoon series thing. The closest thing that I had to that was Power Rangers, and I didn't see anything else before that. Well,